All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Weaver, and welcome to another broadcast of Northwest Georgia Cryptids. I'm joined tonight with Mr. Blake Duckworth, my co-host, and our scheduled guest for tonight was Mr. Jonathan Odam with Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot. And I want to apologize to everyone. Jonathan informed me earlier in the day that his father-in-law passed away today. Our condolences go out to Jonathan and his family. Uh, we wish them all the best. And I'm sorry, he wasn't able to join us on the broadcast tonight. However, we have Mr. Uh, Alex. Uh, got my Naveen. Sorry, I'm scatterbrained tonight. We have Alex with us tonight. Alex is going to be discussing Bigfoot with us, and we're going to be discussing Alex's upcoming book. So let's, Blake, you got anything else before we welcome Alex to the show?
No. Guys, if you don't mind, please hit the subscribe button, bell notification, leave us a comment, a like. And if you're by chance not subscribed to this channel and you're subscribed to our other channel, please subscribe to this channel. That's all, Ricky.
Yeah, and again, folks, I want to thank everyone that has subscribed this week. We picked up quite a few new subscribers. I'd also like to mention our Facebook channel. Our Facebook page. We've actually surpassed the 400 mark for members, and we'd just like to say that we welcome all the new members aboard, and want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone watching the program tonight. I want to thank everyone that will watch it in the future. And as Blake said, hit that subscribe button. Show us that you like our content. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome Mr. Alex to the show. Alex, buddy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back.
Doing all right, Alex?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Just getting through the work week.
How's the weather up your way, buddy?
Do what?
How's the weather up your way?
Currently 40-something degrees. Been getting down in the 20s. Getting colder.
Oh, getting colder than that. Yeah.
Did you get any snow the other week?
A little bit of snow, mainly on the grass, the hills, nothing major.
Hey, man, at least you're seeing something down here. We're in the foothills down here. We very seldom ever get any. But when we do, it's normally 3 to 4 inches, sometimes a little better. We did get a memorable blizzard back in '93, the biggest thing that I've ever seen myself. We had about 36 inches back then. And I'll tell you the truth, hope we never get anything like that again. But we're going to get into talking about Bigfoot tonight. Blake, you got any questions? Start it off with, bud.
No, I want another blizzard.
Not me, man.
Look, I'm not old enough to. I mean, like I was born, but I don't really remember it. I love snow, so I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, but at the same time, I say that, but like I know we were out without power for like a couple weeks, so I guess that's a little different story.
Well, I got caught up at my mother's house on up at the foot of Grassy Mountain when that thing hit. Ended up staying up there about 2 weeks, and the night that the thing hit, they were calling for like 2 or 3 inches of snow, and by 2 o'clock in the morning, there were trees collapsing on Mother's house, and we had to help her out to my brother's. Her power went out, and we had to help her out to my brother's house, and Mother stood about 5'2", and when she came off the porch out into the snow, there was snow drifts that came up to her chest. So, I don't want to see anything like that again myself.
My dad said it snowed like 3 or 4 hours before it ever started laying, because I know it was like 70-something degrees that day before the blizzard.
Well, it started in up there about 10 o'clock that night, and by 2 o'clock in the morning, it was snowing so hard you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, and it was actually thundering and lightning, and skies lightening up an orange color. damnedest thing I ever seen in my life. And you know, I don't ever want to see it again.
So what's been
Crazy.
going on up there, Alex? You had any new activity going on, or?
Literally the last time I was on the last interview with y'all, I even told Rick, I was like, it's about, an every other night thing for me. And I said when I got off too, I was like, it's probably going to happen tonight. And yeah, that night I messaged him that morning. I think it was like 12 o'clock, something at midnight. I took a screenshot of my phone so I can remember the time. But yeah, it whooped again right outside my camper, loud as can be, just kept going off and off. I mean, it just would not stop. It did it for a few seconds, and then it finally stopped during that time. And at that point, I was awake. I had my phone ready trying to record it, but it stopped at that point. So I don't know what it was doing.
Hmm.
But
So you haven't been able to get any of the vocalizations on recording at all, or?
I mean, I have about 5 clips, and I sent them off to a gentleman who tried to clean them up a little bit. He actually amplified the howl audio, and it's a little staticky, but you can plain day hear them. And I did send it to Rick. I don't know if he was able to download it and where he can play it. I don't know if you can play audio, but I did send a clip, and you can hear him. There's no denying it.
Let me see if I can bring some of that up. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to see if we can open this one. I don't know whether it will let me or not.
I wish I had it on a different device so I can actually play it. But yeah, other than that, I haven't had a whole lot much around here. I mean, it's been 20 degrees, 15 degrees, so it's been cold. I don't know if everything's settled down. You can walk outside at 1 in the morning, not a single sound, no wind, nothing. That, and I've been working
Ricky,
so much now, so I don't know if I'm just dead asleep, if it has been howling out there or whatever. I haven't woken up to it since.
have you done anything else with the gifting?
I checked on it after about a week of just leaving it alone. Um, I had another clip I sent him also where I was gonna go check on it and I was gonna move it. And right when I got to the end of my driveway, I just hear this loud thing walking down the hill. And I know I've hunted before, and I can tell a deer walking. It's multiple sounds. This you can actually hear like a crunching sound for each step, and it was a nice, slow, heavy step. And I kind of freaked out and panicked. And I don't know if I made a noise that it stopped. And I started recording at that time. And cars went past back and forth. And as I was walking to it, I heard another crackling sound to my left. And I started recording that also. And I actually got that on film, which I don't know what it was. I couldn't see.
Rick, you not able to get those?
Now, guys, it won't let me download the audio, but I've got some pics here that Alex has been
You
running
should.
the deal. Huh?
You should be able to do it.
No, what it is, Blake, they got to be downloaded and they got to be converted to a MP4 format, and I haven't done that.
Okay.
So I
Yeah, I
don't
sent the last
know.
clip at the last minute.
If you can, I mean, how can you describe the howls? I mean, have you heard any howls like that you listen to that resemble what you heard?
Yes and no. And all these Bigfoot groups, what I was talking about last time, all these people are recording these same howls at nighttime, and they are so close in similarity. The repetition, the gaps in between each howl, and the long term, like it keeps going for minutes at a time. And I saved the clips from this one woman, and her husband got woken up, and she recorded. Hers are much louder and sound just like mine when they were like a little bit closer to my house. But she lived in like Indiana or Idaho or something like that, so she's nowhere even near Tennessee right now. But it's the fact that when I said last time, like a lot of these people are recording the exact same sounds, but not a single person can tell you what it is. And like I said,
Yeah.
they say bobcat, but you can't give me a bobcat clip that's even close. I hear deer, I hear a doe, but you can't give me a clip even remotely. And I can understand, like they say coyotes can do different sounds, but how come everybody all of a sudden this? And it was like a few week gap that everybody started recording these howls at night within 2 weeks, all around the states, and it's just okay. So if it's a coyote has this one specific sound it makes on a specific week in November, December, and it never does it again.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
my
it
only
could be
thing.
it could be some type of, we don't really know when they mate, and
No.
it could be some type of mating call almost. I mean, every animal kind of has their mating call to a certain extent, so why wouldn't they? I guess. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's kind of
very
weird.
true.
It's kind of weird that's being heard all at the same time. So
Yeah, because like a lot of people's comments said like I used to hear the same sound around deer season, but they only heard it for a few weeks also. So, but they never recorded it. They just didn't know what it was. So again, it's just something different. It's just something I can't find. And I'm
it's
still
like,
this past week I've been looking. I can't find a clip at all. I've looked up this. I looked up strange sounds in the woods on YouTube. Of course, you get everything else. I can't find anything close to it. Not the way it sounds. And I wish you could
yeah,
hear my clip because the
yeah,
one
I
that
want.
I'm upset the most about is the one that when I whooped back at it and everything got quiet for about 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden there was like three of them all around me, all doing the same whooping back and forth. Like it was almost the notes were together, and they just went crazy, and then they all stopped again. And that's the night that the one that was apparently like 40 feet from my camper, that the one that woke me up just decided to turn around and walk away. So the fact that, I know for a fact that's not a deer, as much as I was kind of yelling and moving around. I mean, something just to turn around slowly and walk away, and you can hear it walk forever, and then it just went away. And I'm not gonna go chase after it.
Yeah, yeah.
What
So,
about your gifting area? Have you had any more activity in it?
well, that's what I was telling Blake that when I was gonna check on it last week, like I heard all the sounds. Like I got a little ambitious about it because when I heard it walking down, and I can pinpoint exactly where it was walking to, and it was walking to the gifting tree, and I know it was. And I got excited. I had my phone on record. I start walking over there very quietly, and at that point, when I was getting towards like the edge of the road, I can hear it walking back up the hill, and then I can hear the leaves crunching, and then it kind of stopped. So I thought it stopped, and when I started filming all the way up the hill, seeing the gifting basket, and that's when I realized everywhere I walked at, I was crunching, but about 20 or so feet from the gifting tree was like the soft pine needle. And as soon as you take a step on it, it was like fluff. You couldn't hear any sound. So it came up to a pine tree clearing, these like 4 foot pine trees that were kind of growing in a cluster. And I sent him pictures of it too. Um, if something big could walk across that, you wouldn't hear it. So I know for a fact whatever it was walked right back over the hill to the other side. And at
Right,
that point, it was far off my property that I didn't feel like going after it. But I
I'm gonna
found a
bring
lot
you
of trees in that
a
area that
picture.
were broken over in half, not cut but broken.
I don't want
Yeah.
to bring you a couple of pics right here and let you describe them for us.
I can't see.
Yeah,
Well,
next time.
Make it bigger, Ricky.
hang on just a minute, guys.
Technical difficulties.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna have to reload these.
All right, guys, we're just going to hang with Ricky a second.
Hey man, it's been a tough day. I've had to.
Y'all just have to deal with him one time a week.
Hey, that's true, Blake. That's true. That's true. My computer is not wanting to cooperate tonight. My brain's not wanting to cooperate.
It's okay, Ricky. We still love you.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad somebody does.
Just
Just reading the comments.
We'll have them ready here in just a minute.
Oh, my buddy David. So Blake, have you got your vacation situated yet?
no, not yet.
It'd be nice when y'all come down. Y'all can knock on trees, make
Oh yeah.
cows.
Well, see, I would love to be able to take a trip up there and take like a week because I really want to go over to Cades Cove while we're in Tennessee. Do some investigating over in Cades Cove. There's just a lot of weird stuff that happened in Caves Cove. I mean,
Oh yeah.
not necessarily just Bigfoot, but I mean, there are a lot of reports of UFOs and seeing lights in the woods and above the woods or above trees and stuff like that. So
Speaking of lights, I seen it. I thought it was a shooting star on the way home tonight. It was green though, but it shot straight down, stopped, and took a direct right and just shot off to the right. I'm like, all right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I know this is a little off subject to Bigfoot, but as far as like UFOs and stuff like that, of course, I believe, of course, that that there got to be something else out, that out of
Yeah.
our galaxy or even in our galaxy. But I've had two encounters that were weird. Don't I can just tell you what I saw. I mean, other than that, I don't know anything else. But me and my dad and we went to watch fireworks at a school that's close to where they shoot off our fireworks here in Gordon County. They shoot them off at the fairgrounds, and it
Yeah.
was right before it got dark. It was just like right at that point where there's still just a tad bit of daylight. Their mountain, John's Mountain, was behind us. We were facing the fairgrounds, and we just had to look over. And from the Johns Mountain area, they were three lots, just kind of come up from the woods, went up in the air. They were perfectly spaced apart. They come from the mountain, went over us, just kept going. They were silent. They were fairly low, probably 400 or 500 foot in the air. I don't know what they were. I mean, to me, it was an unidentified flying object because I have no clue what it was. It wasn't a drone. It was too close. I mean, we would have heard a drone. They were just perfectly spaced apart. And I mean, they didn't like just disappear. They didn't do no weird movements other than going straight up, then moving. So I don't know. They never came back. I don't know what it was. Then me and Ricky actually seen something a couple months ago. We had went to a cemetery that we go to fairly often. Well, not much anymore, but we used to go to the cemetery fairly often. And as we got out of the truck, Ricky just happened to look over, and they were this just ball light. I mean, you could tell it was some type of aircraft, but probably, I don't know, what would you say, maybe 500, 600, 700 foot in the sky. I mean, it wasn't, hell, probably not
probably
even
not
that.
that high. I'd say probably 250 foot high.
Yeah, it wasn't very high, but I mean, it wasn't like super close to us, but it was close. It was silent, and it made like kind of how the movements of those lights I was just talking about. It just kind of went off in the distance. I mean, it didn't like just disappear or anything, but I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, it could have been. I don't know. Could have been a
Yeah,
multitude of things.
no motorized sound whatsoever. The craft probably, I'm going to say 30 to 50 yards in width from the looks of it. one light on top of it that looked like it was actually pulsating. And like I say, the weirdest thing to me, when we first saw it, we were probably, I don't know, it might have been, what do you think, Blake, half mile from us, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, half a mile to a mile. I mean, it was fair. It's probably half a mile because it was fairly close to us when you first seen it.
No sounds at all. So, just another mystery to add to all the Bigfoot stuff that we get into, paranormal stuff that we do. But Alex, I finally got some of these pictures downloaded. I'm gonna let you. I've got a couple here of the area itself. I'm gonna let you explain it. Okay, and this is a trail. Okay, there's the pic.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I didn't
that's
even
very.
notice. I didn't even notice that trail when I seen it. Like I never knew it was there. And that is the same. Really, I walked on it and looked at my camper, and that is the same area where I shot the gun that night and seen a bunch of stuff moving, and that was the exact same level. So whatever took
Okay,
off that
yeah.
night was howling. First night
It's
ran that trail.
it's almost that you can. I mean, you can't see footsteps, but I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
looks like you can see indents. Kind of like a little bit of indentions of a footstep almost.
Yeah, and that's what I kept looking all the way down that trail without trying to step on it. And you can see big indentions, but again, as you can see in the picture, it's that pine needle
No,
material that is
yeah,
it's not going to
no
get a good print.
definition.
Yes,
No, and overall, I can tell it's a game trail,
I
but
got. I'll talk to you in a minute.
whatever else is walking on it is fine and dandy.
Yeah, yeah, and you can
But
definitely tell it's
that was
travel.
the same area that I heard that howl, the same like height distance, and then when I seen a bunch of trees moving, going down that path. I was just walking down a hill and I went way past the gifting basket area and I just looked over and I was like, I never knew that was there.
Well, now let me ask you this: how close does this actually come to the camper where you live?
From the what?
How far away is this from the camper where you
Uh,
live?
I would say probably a few hundred feet. Like it's probably pushing around 300 or so feet away because it's like if you think of like a city block, it's about a city block away. So, I mean, if you got a good arm, you can throw a baseball to it.
I'm gonna tell you that is a well-used trail. Very wide trail, wider than most game trails you'll see. Uh, Another thing that I'd like to point out that most game trails, especially if there's a deer trail, whatever, you would have a lot of thick bramble, briars, whatever that deer travel through. This
Yeah,
is just a wide open trail. This is awesome. Um,
yeah,
I would say that this creature is actually using this thing quite often. Uh,
yeah.
and
Because
how
and I have more pictures of the area, but I just sent like the highlighted pictures that I thought was the most interesting. To the right of it, it's thicker stuff, and then to the left of it, it also gets back to thicker brush and all that. So it is a wide open. I mean, you can walk with your pretty much your hands out to your like out to wide open like the hug, and walk down that trail, and you're not really going to touch anything. So surprisingly, it was awfully big.
that is, man, it's huge. Um, Actually, an area down at Fairmount that I've been to. That I've been trying to get us in down there for the investigation, but due to the COVID-19, the folks that own the property aren't letting anyone in down there right now. But now I have actually seen trails comparable to this one on that area down there, and there's actually 4 face-to-face sightings on that area by the people that live there. So I'm going to say you most definitely got a squatch in your backyard up there, and I can't wait to get up there and check this out. Here's some more another pig tree
Yeah.
break.
Now I don't know the strength of pine trees. Like in my opinion, I thought they're decently pliable, and they're decent. They're like Coke can size, and throughout that entire area, they're all broken around the same level. Like I have more pictures. I'm talking about a bunch of trees, at least like 40 or so trees, all broken, within about a foot or so from the base. And then he's got another picture too that I went on the other side. 'Cause at first I'm like, are they cut? They're not cut. I mean, you can see that they were literally snapped. It wasn't bent, and then it just all the trees are snapped that way.
All about the same height, or
are
Do
they
what?
same? And you can tell with this pic right here that it has been snapped. There's
Yeah.
no uh,
That's what I'm
cut.
saying. Like this, it was all the smaller ones that were snapped. Now the bigger ones, like big softball size, none of those were bent over. But and I don't know if I sent it to you, but almost all the trees were bent over in the general same direction and snapped that direction. So I
now
did think,
far as like how high the actual where it's broke at, are they
yeah,
all fairly similar to the height of the break, or
yeah, almost they're all the same height, like almost identical, within a foot to 2 foot off the ground.
huh.
And I did go to a tree that was similar size, and I tried to start pushing it. Yeah, I had to put a
Yeah,
lot of
they
weight
don't
to
just
even
break.
attempt
Yeah,
to do that, and it would almost break more at the ground level. So, and I was trying to like act as if I'm a strong gust of wind. That's what I don't understand. Like I had some people see the pictures, and it was like maybe a bad storm went through. Maybe, but why was it the smallest trees possible? Coke can sized trees that all snapped in the same spot, but anything like super small or anything bigger than that did not break. And it was only in just one specific area. It wasn't like the entire forest was like that. It was just one clustered area of these trees all snapped and go in one direction.
Ricky,
And
do you remember?
and they were broken uphill, not really in an angle of the hill, kind of like a flat level. It was all literally going up the hill, snapped. So I thought it was weird. So I took some pictures. And again, I didn't go in this area. This area was about a good 30 or so feet from the gifting basket, and I started exploring more on the hill. And I was like, I didn't know.
Right, Blake, what were you about to ask, bud?
You know what reminds me of this? Do
What's
you
that?
remember when we went over to Dunaway Gap and we found that area that was like all the trees were laying a certain? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I sure do. I actually found that very strange that night that we were over there checking those out. Uh, that whole area over there was kind of like this right here. Trees snapped and bent in one, or snapped, broke over in one direction like that. All these trees you're seeing, Alex, are all pointed in the same direction.
I had
Hmm.
other pictures, but again, I at first I was like, nah, this is not Bigfoot related. I'm trying to
Looking
find
too far
things.
into things.
Yeah, and I was like, no, this has got to be a storm. And then
No,
now I was like, I'm looking at the pictures, and it's awkward, it's weird, and I didn't understand it. That's why I made sure to get a picture of that one to show that yeah, there are some trees up in that area that was cut maybe a long time ago, within the past 20 years, but that's not cut. I mean, there was
Yeah,
dang near
yeah, that's
broken,
broke.
and
That's
they're
broke.
all around the same age, I guess. Pine, and pine is to me decently pliable. Like it's not something you just push over and it's a crack. And I mean, at least that I've seen.
you know, Blake, a lot of well, probably 90% of the limb breaks that I've found over the years have been on pines. Have you found any up there where you're having limb breaks up, say 6, 8 foot off the ground, maybe 10 foot, where it looks like something's actually reached up and got a hold of the limbs and broke them over?
In my area, I didn't see a whole lot.
Okay, that's
I mean,
something
there's trees.
up
There's
there.
some.
We need to walk
There's.
that out and check it out for that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying there's some trees, like some big trees that's fallen over, but they look like they fell over within like maybe 10 years. Because I can step on them, they're very soft. But there was two spots that I could not explain. I did not send you the picture. I forgot that it was there was like a 5 foot gap in between them, but it looked like something big could lay in it, almost like a bird nest type style. And I could not get. I tried getting pictures of it, and the pictures didn't show the depth. Like if I laid in it, I mean, two grown men could lay in it side by side and kind of be almost like a comfortable, relaxing chair in a way. I don't know what it was exactly. I don't know if a tree fell over 50 years ago and the tree is now, disintegrated and now just a crater of the holes there. I don't know. Like I said, I don't, like Blake said, I don't want to get too far into it and start just imagining and putting things together like, oh, this is
Yeah.
Bigfoot, that's Bigfoot. It's just that whole area,
But
it is
it's
weird.
interesting.
It is interesting.
What about any
But
structure? What about any structure? Have you found any structure? Yeah.
I didn't I didn't look a whole lot. Like when I took these photos is the same time that I heard something walk into the gifting basket, and I really should have stayed put where I was at. I should have sat down. I should have remained quiet, record on my phone. But again, I was like, is this my only chance to get this thing on video? Even if it's walking away, get something on film. And I should have just sat. I should have stayed still. I should have let whatever it was do its thing. But it was walking to the gifting basket. It sounded so much bigger. And then I hear something medium sized moving over to the left. So my thought was like, there's two of these, and this one sounds either very short steps or something smaller of size, but not like squirrel size. And I just kept looking and looking. In my mind, I was like, I gotta go to the one that's going to the gifting basket. And I really was trying to be as quiet as I could. But again, when I got up to the gifting basket, and if you turn around and look at the road, you can see anybody walking. I mean, there's no hiding from it. And I knew, like, as soon as I even started getting to the edge of the other side of the road, I can hear it turn around and walk back. And I knew at that point I lost my chance on that one. So that I got up there to the hill and I start looking around. I was by myself. I was exploring. I made some whoops. I started knocking on trees. I got no response. I mean, why would they right now? Because I just walked up on them. So that's when I started looking around, seeing all the trees knocked over and bent over. Took some photos. Felt a little uncomfortable up there, still by myself, and then I just ended up walking back down the hill, went home.
Okay, when you're out in that area, do you feel that a lot of people that I've interviewed over the years, Blake and I have, do you feel that you're actually being watched? Do you have a feeling of being
Yeah.
watched while you're?
It's the feeling of the cold chills, the body chills, the air's gotten thinner. It's almost like you're cold but not cold. And I kept looking around. I try to stay as quiet and still as possible and just slowly move around just to see if I can find any shape, body, movement. And I know where it went to. And I will tell you this, I got to the top of the hill, and at that point I did not want to go any further, so that's when I just turned around and went right back home. I was like, I just don't want to keep walking upon this because it didn't move away fast. It didn't run off. It literally walked so slow back up the hill, and it walked away. If I gave it about 10 more seconds, it probably would have been at the gifting basket.
Okay, let's go back to the UFOs we were discussing a while ago. Okay, this one. There's been so much secrecy and disinformation over the last 200 years that it's become impossible to prove anything in the face of official denial. And that's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's 100% true.
That's really true. I was talking to the guy the other night that he's ex-military, and he was telling me that he actually believes that the government does know that these creatures exist. But then, as he and I discussed, you know, if they actually came out and told us or told the American people that this creature is out there, can you imagine what it would actually do to our not only the logging industry in this country, but to the sporting industry as well?
To any outdoor activity.
Right. I mean, if you told if there was an official, uh, someone that official with the government stood up and said that these creatures actually existed, then there's no way that 80% of your sportsmen would go back in the woods. If they knew there were 8, 10, 12 foot uh, monster out there, as you would call it.
Oh no, I'm using the service up in town. Sorry.
No,
I try to mute the mic, but she walked up asking if I needed help and everything.
You're good.
This is why I live where I live alone. Nobody walks up on me. I'm sorry.
But yes,
man.
what you're saying, Ricky, is 100% correct. I mean, if you tell most people that monsters roam around in our woods, that most people that aren't probably going to go back in the woods.
That's true. I mean, that is that's it, guys. It's going to be
Even though they're not truly monsters, but that's how most people are going to view them. So
I
well,
mean, yeah.
the way it's perceived.
I mean, you got movies that make them out as creatures that will just kill you, which is very possible. I mean,
yeah,
you provoke
don't
it
get me
enough.
wrong. You can possibly get killed by about any animal if you put them in certain situations.
Yeah.
That's something we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. Is I think a lot of these aggressive counters that people have are one because you've either walked up one, they're young around, or it's a survival or it's just natural instinct. Same with us. If we've got a kid around, you feel threatened, your instinct is to protect. Do what you have to.
I mean, even if you're
you
not,
gotta think if these things were truly, dangerous or dangerous creatures or animals, we would have people coming up dead all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They are a lot of stories like the misinformed one and stuff like that of, a lot of these people going missing around state parks and in certain places. So, it does happen, but, is that directly related to Bigfoot? A lot of people think it is, but, I mean,
we don't know.
But, I mean, if they were truly that dangerous, we would have a lot more people just disappearing or coming up dead.
I agree.
Or attacked or, whatever.
So. But, like a side question though too. When y'all do plan on coming down, like what are some ways that you want to do or what you want to bring or provoke or get a response? Like what do y'all have plans on bringing?
Well, I mean, one thing that I like to do is mainly just do your thing. I mean, don't we do howls, of course, and stuff like that, but go about, almost, what we do a lot is just go camping. Go set up camp, sit there, make a fire. We get out, after a while, we'll go out in the woods, just kind of walk around and just see what happens. Because I mean, I feel like a lot of times if you're just going about your normal activities, you're going to have more things happen than if you're out there with flashlights or just looking for them. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's like all these TV shows and stuff like that. I mean, like Finding Bigfoot. Hey, it's cool. It brings a lot of attention to Bigfoot, but they're never gonna find anything. If you're out there with 15 different people, a camera crew, lights. I mean, he's not. You're not going to have one just walk up and say, "Hey." I mean,
Yeah.
Right. I like going in the area setting up a couple of small cams, going out, putting out voice recorders, you know, and basically, as Blake said, just set up camp, just be natural in their environment uh, as they are, and see what happens.
I agree.
These are very curious animals. They are going to come if you go into their area. They know you're there. I mean, they know you're there before you even get camp set
Oh
up.
yeah.
And they're going to come and check you out.
I go about it a lot how I go about my paranormal investigations. A lot of people, when they're in the paranormal, like for that aspect of things, one of my favorite places to go, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. If you go up there, walk around with a flashlight on, asking all these questions, you'll get responses, don't get me wrong. But the best thing you can do, turn off your lights, sit there, and just listen. That's when you hear the things. That's when you have things happen to you more often than, pressuring either an entity or same with Bigfoot. I feel like the more you pressure it, the lesser responses you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, that's
I,
go ahead, Alex.
no, I was just gonna say I wish y'all was here like that entire week. That it was pretty much every night, it's every other night.
We plan on coming up and staying at least maybe 2 or 3 days,
You're more than welcome.
because that's something that when you go into an area like that and you really want to do a good investigation and find out what's there, it's going to take at least 2 or 3 nights to do that, to really be able to get enough evidence to prove that they are using the area.
Yeah, and that's why like again, like Blake said, I don't try to get too much into it. Like, yeah, at first the first howls that I heard that was a distant, I really thought it was maybe a dog barking. It was the echo. But when it was 3 nights back to back in different areas, that's when I was like, okay, it's getting weirder. But the moment that I knew that it wasn't a dog, like, a random dog, is when I have to drive up the hill and I can hear like bigger dogs barking. And I was like, okay, that's a dog. But it was mainly the night that I got the 3 responses from 3 different ones at the exact same time. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, they are communicating. And I really wish I had a really good recording of that night or at least have y'all there to visually hear the sounds coming from 3 different directions at the exact same time. And that's when I knew. I was like, I don't care what you say, it's no other animal but what I can think of.
Yeah. Well, even me, like this is how I look at things. Is I'm a skeptic. I'm a knower, but I look at every piece of evidence with skepticism
Yeah.
because they're always, and I'm the same with paranormal. I'm so bad about it. Like it could be like right there and print it in front of my face. Like this is what happened. This I got an EVP. This is what it says. I'm gonna look at it in every sense, try to remember. Well, did this happen at this time? Until I can fully prove that is, evidence.
Yeah.
So,
That's right, guys. And in the comment section here, close to 100% of the United States is under the watchful eye of wide area persistent surveillance. All Bigfoots are tracked like whales. What's your guys' opinions on that?
Could be.
definitely a
I don't know.
possibility. Yeah, definitely a possibility. We do know that there are approximately 1,800 across the United States altogether, but that's just I guess,
Yeah,
And I
a guess.
I think the number was more like 18,000.
Was
Uh,
it 18,000?
18,000 is
Are
what.
you sure?
Yeah, yeah, about 18,000 across the United
yeah,
States.
because right now there's roughly reported that they can find roughly 10,000 reports of a Bigfoot, but then you have people who's witnessed two, three, four. So
Yeah.
I can see why it's up there. I mean, yeah, you could have 5,000 reports of the same one also, but the one that
But
I
man,
and that the one
you
that's in
got to
my
realize
area, I thought I had one.
you got to realize, guys, that we've got millions and millions of people in the United States. So you take 18,000 Sasquatch scattered across the United States. Uh, Still at 18,000, that's a very low number.
Oh
We
yeah.
interviewed a guest here a few weeks ago that his belief is that these things, in order to control their population, they don't mate but every 7 years, which would make sense. Uh, because these things stay hid. I mean, they do. They're one of the greatest hide and seek champions there is in the world as far as staying hid from us. And if their population were to explode like the human population, hey, you'd see these things in your backyard every day.
And that's where their knowledge is far advanced than we can imagine. I mean, to even come up with, I mean, keeping low population,
Yep.
that's smart in
You know,
general.
and that kind of goes. I know you were talking about the howls earlier, and how that everybody started hearing those same howls around the same time. See, that would be one way that would be awesome to figure that out if that is their mating season and a type of mating howl is go back, see what date that was, and see kind of what happens every couple years to see if those reports start happening again for the same howls, and that may help put together some dots. I mean, to see if that theory would be correct.
Yeah. And just if it's roughly around 7 years, and pretty much once the 7 year hit and you missed your chance, you have to wait another 7 years to possibly get the same calls again.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people think they only have one or two, but that's what I was trying to say. That the night that I got my responses, and then the one that walked away, that kind of proved that there was at least four in my general area within a half a
Well,
mile. So more than I thought there'd be.
well, we do believe that they live in family groups, which would make sense. When you have
Yeah.
one, you're typically going to have whether however many that family consists of. We don't know that, far as like their typical family groups of, they have 8, 5, 3. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But it did. That's what I'm trying to figure out too, because I'm trying to figure out patterns, vocals, and it seems so far I've had two different occasions where you hear the fast whooping sound that's repeated quickly with it has a tendency to have a very long 5 to 6 second whoop at the end, and then after that all you hear is the whoops from the other ones, every 2 to 3 seconds, just repeated over and over. So I don't know if that is I don't know what that means. And if it is a family, I am surprised that they are as far as apart as they can be, but within, I guess, shouting distance that they know where they're at. So that is the weirder part. That in my mind, I thought they might travel closer together, but it kind of makes sense to break up, I guess. See if they can find anything. Like I said, it was almost like a triangle pattern around my property. So I don't know if that is almost their way of hunting something down. I don't know.
it's almost like they kept in a grid pattern almost.
Yeah, and they maintain that pattern, and they maintain that pattern now twice around my property. So again, I don't know what it means, but I did move the gifting basket to where the one I heard walk behind my camper. I moved it on the back side of the property. I couldn't find like a perfect tree like I had it the first time, so I had to tie it to a branch, which it's sitting at the low end right around my head, so it's still about 6.5 feet in the air. So again, that should be high enough for deers not to be able to get. But if it's touching anything, I tried the carrots. The carrots went limp noodle after like 5 days. They just turned to rubber. So I threw those out. The apples are still freaking going strong. And then I left the same stuff in the baskets this time. I took it all off the ground, carried it with me, and just put it in the baskets.
You haven't had anything come up missing.
I did that Sunday, and with my new work schedule, they're making me like say an extra hour or so after work. I'm getting home at like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. It's so dark. Even though it's near my property, it's just I'm leaving alone now since it's in a brand new area. I just wanted to see about giving it a week and see what happens. But like I was
Right.
telling Rick, it's been so cold. I haven't heard anything. And if they are howling at a distance, it's not waking me up. I mean, I'm not sleeping with the window cracked like I was because it was warm during that time at night where I could crack the window and it's still chilly, but I can hear the sounds, but not lately. Which the weather's supposed to be picking back up in Tennessee. It's supposed to get warmer, so if that can pick up activity, that's great.
Well, that's something that Blake and I have encountered down at the lake where we go to quite often. There's a lot of times it seems that in the winter months, these things are a lot more active down there than they are on it later in the summer.
Yeah.
You might go down there in the winter, and every time you go down there, you got some type of encounter. Summer months, you go down there, uh, you know, you might get an occasional wood knock, maybe an occasional whoop, but nothing at all like it is in the winter down
It might pick up here soon. I don't know. It might get too crazy where y'all have to stay 2 weeks. I don't know.
there. Hey, I'm willing. Uh,
My work won't allow, unfortunately.
And mine would if you test positive for COVID.
I manage a vape shop and I don't ever get no time off. It's been there for almost 6 years and I feel like I've worked the whole last 6 years of my life.
Yeah, that's why I kind of start writing the book. You know, just if I can make that a full-time job and stay at home with my family, that's great. But I came up with if I can just make 75% of what I make at my work, I'll stay at home. Even probably less because I don't have to drive the hour and a half every morning.
Yep.
But that's still going good.
It
The
makes a
book's
difference of being happy in life and getting to do what
oh
you
yeah,
want to do, rather than just a daily routine that leads to just paying bills pretty much.
yeah. And I'm enjoying it. I've had a lot of fun writing it. I started writing the second one again. I picked back up on that, which yeah, that one's taken off in its own direction, and I still have book 3 and 4 that I want to write that I've got notes jotted down. I started a little thing in the group now for all the children in there to draw their picture of Bobby and all that, which they did. They did a really good job.
yeah, let me put
I
up a
sent.
couple of pictures here.
They were really kind of proud that I asked them to. I took a lot of their photos, put it in the banner of the group. I did a little TikTok video of all their pictures too. So
No.
Hey man, it's wild that you're getting this type of interaction from the kids. This is what
I mean,
and
I still want
getting
them
the
to
children.
believe no matter what.
Hang on one second. Zane, if you're watching this, buddy, can you draw him a Bigfoot so I can send it to him? I'm gonna have my son draw you one and have him send it to you.
Yeah, I'll upload it, post it on everything I got.
That's some awesome pics, man.
I still like this one. I like the little mouth on it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Well, when are you looking at a publishing date on this book?
Right now, my illustrator is still shooting to be done by February, March, which gives me roughly a month to put it all together, build the book, convert it to all the PDF files that Amazon, Kindle, Ingram Spark, and all that needs for the ebook, paperback book, hardback book copies. It's got to be right in their little sweet zone that they want. And if it's not, I have to constantly redo it. So that's why I say roughly a month, and I'm trying to get it out by April.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're dealing with and all this. It's not an overnight thing. I know.
Nah,
I worked on the book that I wrote back in, I published it in 2010, and
It took forever.
yeah, I actually worked on it for over 3 years. But it
I'm
was,
trying. I'm trying to get this one out by April, and as soon as that one's done, I'm gonna have him start working on book two's illustrations. And if I can get that one out by August or something, that's great. I'm trying to get. I would like to get the first two books out this year, and then do the other two books next year. And then I have a spin-off series of the main character, still keeping with the same story, but travel off and branch back off.
right.
So explore more on multiple. Trying to say like not try not to give so much away, but explore Bobby Bigfoot, but more of a clan and show other types of them. So I would like to bring eventually one book with every type that's ever been known from all different clan types. So it's not always about Bigfoot. It's not always about a Yeti. It's literally going to be. I want to be everything. So that's what I'm going with. And I know since the interview with y'all, I got asked to do a second interview for a podcast, which that went great. That was fun to do. And then just the other day, I got asked from another podcast that does iHeartRadio, Apple, iTunes, stuff like that, and he wants to do an interview also. So
Good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say so. I was gonna mention that you have another podcast coming up. When is the date on that one?
the podcast coming up, I think I'm doing my recording next Wednesday, and I think it might be out within a week from that time. Because he wants to do like a YouTube commercial trailer for it to do a little bit of promoting that for every episode, and then that should release within a week. So it might be within the week. It might be Friday of that next week. So
That's good. That's
but
good.
it's
Well,
been
man,
fun. I mean, this is different. Like when I have a video chat interview thing with y'all, it's fun because I'm actually interacting with you. Now the second podcast or the first podcast I did last week, that was so difficult for me. It was almost like complete stage fright because it's just audio and I have to do everything. He doesn't ask any questions, which Vic is a very cool guy, but as soon as he's like, all right, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start. I forgot my name. I went blank for 10 seconds. I was just supposed to say my name. I was supposed to tell about myself, what I'm doing, and then tell my stories. I couldn't remember anything, and I froze. And thank God he can do editing because the amount of times I kind of went, blank for a minute there, he can cut and paste that back together.
hey
I was
man,
like, that is the worst interview possible.
I'm same way, dude. I've done broadcast with Kelly Arnold off of oh God, I went blank.
There you go. Perfect
See?
example. It happens
Yep.
to all of us. You get put on the spot, it's a little different.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I went blank. Kelly, he's got a big broadcast that he does every week, and that was the first interview that I ever did, and it was it was a good interview, but it was a little unnerving. I've done some radio broadcasts since then. I find those to be, I guess, somewhat harder than the format that we're actually in right now. I really do.
Yeah.
Unlike you, it's it's entirely left up to you to basically carry the show, and with all three of us here, this really doesn't bother me at all. I can do this all day long, but when you get
And I,
put on the radio like that,
Well, you're just like with us, you're just having a conversation. Like, I mean, they're it's a little bit
it's a
simpler when you're just
conversation
talking. I
that
mean,
it's a conversation that people are watching and commenting, and that is fine. But doing a podcast like Victor did, it was different. It was the fact that I had to tell my story, which he explained. When you do that, you get more of a genuine response. You don't get the typical questions, like, well, how tall, how big, was he smelly? Like, it was almost as soon as I told the story. And at the end of the show, I told him too that while I was telling the story the way I did, I was shaking because I can actually remember the feelings that I was feeling at that point, and it brought back a lot of memories. Just that nervousness that I felt and now I see why he did it the way he did. It literally got more genuine response from me, and something that not even the listener could see or understand, because like I was trembling when I was done. But it's fun though.
It's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, yeah. Like I say, man, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this thing. Um, sorry about this, guys. My phone, if it has not rung 1,000 times today, it hasn't rung one time. I'm telling you, today's
Well,
been tough.
I got a question, Rick. Though, if your cell phone's there, the clips that I sent you in Messenger, is it on your computer only, or is it on your phone at all?
I have it on my phone.
I'm just wondering if you can actually play the clips to your phone, and
You know,
maybe at least you can actually maybe possibly hear it. That's not
hang
what I
on a minute.
heard.
Oh, hey man, I didn't even think about this. Let me
See,
bring this up and
I'm
see
on my
what.
cell phone and I can't pull up anything. I don't even know if I can split window it, but I don't know if it'll even pull up a sound. But I was just thinking about your phone. I was like, maybe you can play it. I mean,
Right.
it's the clip. The clip is staticky in general because at the beginning I move it around and it's picking up every sound. And as soon as I stay still, you can hear the howls. I mean, plain and simple. So at least you can try to maybe hear it for once and have the viewers like hear it also. Maybe they might. I've heard it before.
Y'all hear that?
I don't hear nothing.
You can't hear it?
No.
Kind of, sort of. So
Guys, I've got it on full blast here.
I can hear it then.
You hear it there?
Yeah, it got louder, yeah.
Okay, let me start it back over.
Yeah.
You'd have to have earphone. You have to have headphones on
Yeah.
to hear it. I can't hear it.
It's staticky. It's not that staticky on the actual clip. Not that bad. It's just trying to pick up through speakers, but I can hear that howl. Like,
Oh, I can hear it clear myself on this.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Rick. I mean, now you're. I mean, I can actually talk to you. I mean, you've heard the clip. Like, what do you think? I mean, have you heard that before?
Oh
Anything?
yes. Oh yes, yes. I've heard the same thing at the lake down there. I've heard the same thing at Blue Ridge. I've heard the same thing on
Can,
Big Frog
can
Mountain.
Ricky, can you
Yeah.
send it to me through email?
Yeah.
Yeah, just whenever
Yeah.
you get a chance, send it to me through email.
Okay. As soon as the broadcast is over, I'll do that, Blake. Speaking of that, guys, we've done gone over a little over an hour here. So I'm going to close the show out. Alex, I really appreciate you
Yep.
being on tonight. Buddy,
Thank you again, Alex.
Nah, that's no problem.
again, everybody look for Alex's book. Be out in April, you said.
Yeah.
Uh, Bobby Bigfoot. Uh, it's going to be a killer. Everybody's going to enjoy it. Our kids will. Uh, Send in your comments. Tell us how you like tonight's show. Again, Alex, thanks, man. Blake,
Yes, sir.
thanks for your participation tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're glad that you've interacted with us tonight, watched our program. We're going to close her out. Uh, Again, thanks, everyone.
And
Everybody stay
as
safe.
always, guys, thank you guys so much.
And
If you
Alex,
don't
we
mind,
will be getting back with you just in a few days. Hopefully, Blake, get your vacation schedule straightened out before we can go. I'm chomping at the bits to get up there and actually do some research and maybe we can get some howls and stuff that we can actually get downloaded in here to let the viewers see what it's all about. All right, everyone. Again, thank you for the night. Thank you for viewing. Good night, everyone. Blake, you anything else, bud, you want to add before we take it off?
Nope. As always, guys, thank you guys so much. If you don't mind, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, comment, hit the bell notification. And like I said, thank you guys so much.
All right, thanks, everyone. We'll have another show for you next Wednesday night. Please join us. And again, hit that subscribe button, that like button. Thanks, everybody, for the participation tonight. Alex, again, man, thank you. Blake.
Yep. Thank you, Alex.
See everybody. Everybody stay safe.